Welcome back to my channel, where today we're talking about Devil's Hole Aquarium. Long before Bermuda gained its postcard sheen, the island's eastern parishes whispered about a place where the sea seemed to inhale and exhale beneath the land itself. They called it Devil's Hole, a deep bottle-green lagoon sunk into a limestone shoulder of Smith's Parish. At first glance, it looks like a placid pond, but stand quietly on its rim, and you'll notice odd clues that something larger stirs below. The faint salt tang in the breeze, gentle pulses that lift and drop the surface, and when a gale rolls up from the Caribbean, a sudden muttering that swells into full-throated thunder. A cave that became an ocean window. Geologists explain Devil's Hole as the ghost of a literal cave. Millennia ago, Atlantic waves gnawed a hollow under the coastal cliffs. Roof rock thinned, cracked, and, sometime in the early 1800s, surrendered to gravity with a boom loud enough to rattle windows in sleepy Flats Village. Where stalactites once dripped, daylight now poured in, revealing an 80-foot shaft that corkscrewed to pale blue depths. Surprisingly, the new skylight did not connect to adjacent Harrington Sound, but to winding tunnels that weave southeast, tapping the open Atlantic more than a mile away. That subtle plumbing matters. Tides here run out of sync with the nearby sound, so every 6 hours the pool either inhales clear ocean water or exhales it in frothing haste. Islanders quickly noticed another quirk. Whenever Sargasso storms brewed beyond the horizon, Devil's Hole foretold trouble. Barometric drops forced swells into its tunnels. Trapped air compressed and vented through cracks with a bestial howl. Wind-blown spray clouded the water, turning it turbid and grey. Nature's storm alert in an era before radio. Enter Mr. Trott and the birth of a natural aquarium. Into this drama stepped Thomas Trott, a farmer whose land happened to cup the newly opened sinkhole. Trott was no scientist, yet he grasped the value of spectacle. He rigged planked walkways, lowered pails of fresh fish scraps, and soon trained resident groupers to surface at the sound of a tin dinner bell. Word spread faster than cedar boat mail. Here was a place where, for the price of a friendly knock on Trott's door, you could peer straight into the beating heart of the Atlantic. Curiosity, however, is a tide that never ebbs. By 1843, Trott complained in the Royal Gazette that throngs of idlers were trampling his cabbages and annoying the servants. His remedy was brisk capitalism. Adults would henceforth pay 1 shilling. Children could wriggle through the gate for free, so long as they minded their manners. The fee scarcely deterred visitors. American steam packet schedules began listing Trott's Natural Aquarium alongside docks and hotels. 19th-century travelogues gushed about a watery menagerie of rainbow-finned creatures set within living stone. Creatures, myths, and a 9-foot villain, and what creatures they were. The tunnels acted like one-way valves for juvenile fish swept in from the reef. Blue angelfish, parrotfish, wrasse, sergeant majors. Green turtles, some tipping the scales at 150 pounds, glided in languid circuits, rising to nibble lettuce from tourists' fingers. But the undisputed anti-hero was Long Tom, a moray eel rumored to stretch 9 feet. Long Tom would lurk beneath the feeding platform and, in a green blur, snatch chunks of grouper flank, or on daring days, the entire grouper. Newspapers delighted in dubbing him the Pirate of the Pool. Children, meanwhile, stood back a respectful yard when tossing scraps. Hollywood flirts with the abyss. Devil's Hole earned a brush with early cinema, when Australian swimming celebrity Annette Kellerman arrived in 1914 to shoot Neptune's Daughter, one of silent film's aquatic fantasies. Kellerman had performed underwater ballets in glass-walled tanks from London to St. Louis, yet she had never seen a stage quite like Trott's Lagoon. She proposed a stunt: dive into the chasm, don a mermaid tail, and hand-feed its inhabitants while cameras cranked above. Bermuda's colonial governors, perhaps mindful of Long Tom's teeth, politely vetoed the idea. Kellerman's disappointment became local legend. Folks still point to a weathered wharf beam said to bear her frustrated kick mark. Turtles, eggs, and an accidental conservation lab. By the 1970s, tourism boomed, but so did ecological concern. When two of the resident turtles nested on a narrow shelf and their eggs rolled off into 50-foot water, caretakers realized their marvel doubled as a death trap for hatchlings. In response, they sculpted a miniature beach of coral sand beside the lagoon. The idea worked beyond hope. 58 tiny shells cracked open one dawn, launching a flotilla of hatchlings that paddled towards sunlit shallows. The success inspired scientists at the Bermuda Aquarium, Museum and Zoo, BAMZ, to replicate the design. Devil's Hole, once a roadside curiosity, had nudged forward marine husbandry. Decline, closure, and the echo that remains time, however, can be as erosive as brine. Wooden railings rotted, insurance liabilities ballooned, and by 2009, the owners shut the gates for good. Today, vines lace the old ticket booth, and the feeding bell lies half submerged in algae. Yet the hole itself abides, tidal, mysterious, unwilling to fall silent. Stand there on a blustery October evening, and you will still hear that deep-throated rumble spiraling up the shaft. Skeptics say it's physics. Romantics insist it's the devil clearing his throat. Whichever story you prefer, one fact remains. In a land famed for pink sand and pastel roofs, Devil's Hole offers a rarer thrill, the chance to listen, quite literally, to the lungs of the sea. Thanks for watching. Guys, don't forget like, comment, and subscribe.